Hello, everyone. Let's talk about rent to own or leases or device rentals. However, you want to call it, we can track it here in Uranus. So, whether or not you have loaner devices that you just loan out to certain customers or you want to charge for device rentals, my personal opinion on that is nothing should ever, you're a business, don't do it for free. Um, give that, like you should charge them. If you have a device like a spare phone or a laptop or a computer or whatever that you can rent to them even by the week, to while their device is being repaired, because some repairs do take a little while you're waiting on parts. Not everybody has a spare computer or phone to use in the meantime. There's so many different reasons why somebody might be looking for a temporary device to use. So within Uranus, we can actually do this. We can track it. It calculates payments and discounts. So let's take a look, and you'll go over to customers, right? And we've been dealing with, Maya, but let's take a look at Sophia's account, because in this one she has been having. Okay, we will add devices. Okay, so we want to make sure. So Sophia has no work orders. Let me see if we got somebody else here that has a work order that has to do with a phone. You know what? Let's just go back to Maya. So we're just gonna loan a spare laptop to her, right? And we're gonna charge per week. So we're gonna add a device as a rental device in this, and we're going to I'm going to show you how all this works. So we're looking at this at Maya's work order, and we know that she's got a computer in the shop and she needs a computer to use for work or school, whatever, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to customer assets. So in the database right now, we only have her computer, but we're going to go ahead real quick and we're going to add a rental device, and this is how this is going to work. So we're going to add a customer called inventory, which is something you're going to want to do right out the gate if you haven't done it already. Is create a customer called inventory, and if you have multiple locations, use the other name field to show that, like the first name, main. Call it main. So but either way, you add that. Now the customer, this fake customer is called inventory. You might want to track that if you have a store, but it doesn't matter. So, type of equipment. She's borrowing a laptop. This is a Dell Latitude. I don't know, E7400. I think that's a model of a laptop. Anyway, um, you would go through. You definitely want to log the serial number for these. In this example, I'm not going to, though, give you a real Dell serial number, so we'll just give a bullcrap one because this will make more sense later. Um, you should always be tracking your purchase dates. So let's just say purchase date was today, and we will just say that we paid $200 for this because it was just a used device that we bought in the first place, just for the purpose of loaner devices. So we're not worried about any promo discounts. This is required field, this little asterisk here, and you will get an error message if not so by default. It says $0. We're not worried about RTO term. Because this is meant as a temporary loaner, I would just tell the system 6 months, you're going to rent it out by the week. So that just means 24 payments. Um, and yeah, so again, we're logging this. And and scrolling is not fun. But anyway, so it doesn't really matter any, like we're just adding a temporary device. So now that you've added this, now that we've got this, um, we now see there are certain things about it. It calculates the cash price. It gives you a value of price of ownership, and so if you're new to this, you're not sure how the numbers work. The formula for the price is 3x the purchase price, and the price of ownership is 1.7x the cash price. So if you wanted to modify the price any, again, customization is a huge part of Uranus. So we'll say that we want to deduce the payments by 200, the maximum value by $200. So we'll watch this. It goes from $42.50 a week to $34.17 a week. So that's how you modify things. You want to record things accurately, but if you want, you want to see how reducing your any sort of discounts, it tracks all that for you. So yeah, so at this point, it also tracks your total payments in the balance on it. So yeah, so the price of ownership here is $820. Maya hasn't paid anything yet. So now, but in order to do it, so hypothetically now you have gone, she signed the agreement, you've got all that paperwork logged. So eventually you can store it in however you store your paperwork, your records, or whatever. In Uranus, you would actually append those to the customer. So under file attachments, but say she's going to make a payment, so we know that it's 34.17, and we'll just assume cash 34.17. We hit save. We wait a second. That box goes away. We hit save changes because we want it to recalculate everything. So now total payments in is she's paid her 34.17, and yeah, so this doesn't necessarily track due dates automatically for you. You would still need to set those up in some sort of a billing tool, whether you set it up as automatic invoices in Wave or whatever you're using. Maybe you're using something like WHMCS or Blesta that actually gives them a web front end to manage payments. Then that's up to that's up to you to decide how you're actually going to offer that. But what this does is it gives you a central point. So people are going to, so again, all of this is establishing processes. So you would have somebody that, if you are doing a rent to own thing as a major part of your business, then you would definitely need to have a manager or somebody that part of their job description is logging into your invoicing system or your billing system and running a report on all the previous days customer payments, and then going in and applying those payments to this system. So while this isn't meant to be something to scale out as a full as a full customer payment system, or rather for rent to own, this works better for a small shop that does some self financing, that does stuff at point of sale. So if a customer's coming in because they want to, you want to make a payment on their, whatever it is that they're renting from you, at that point in time, you would update it in this system, you would run that on the point of sale, and you'd be done. So in some ways, it's a little unwieldy if you're trying to start a rent to own business all entirely and you want people to be able to make payments online. That's the moment that this turns into a bit more work. But if the only way that they're making payments is by coming in or You just know that they're paying an online invoice that you just emailed them. You know, there's ways that this makes perfect sense and it's not a problem and it's not too much work. But yeah, that's up to you how you want to do it. So, you know, but that's how rent to own works in Uranus. Um, it calculates everything. So just to show you one more thing here that I thought was pretty cool. So it calculates remaining payments. This is intentionally not rounded to a whole number because if you are doing rent to own, you absolutely need to be able to let the customer know that there is a partial payment at some point. And so, yeah, case in point, hypothetical example that happens a lot. It's tax time. You get, the customer gets, their tax refund back, and they decide that they want to go in and put, let's just say that say this is a rent to own thing, and it's not a you know, a temporary device rental. But let's say she decides that she wants to come in and put $250 down. I remember before I did this, it said 22.99 payments. Watch. So it doesn't actually update until you hit save changes. But now it shows that it's down to 15.68 payments, and the balance due on the device is 535.83. I also want to point out that this isn't tracking sales tax, so I don't know what your local laws are for sales tax, but I'm assuming that whenever they come in to make a payment on the point of sale side, you're also charging sales tax. Just know that this is tracking payments for the principal for your part, the part that's actually yours, minus any processing fees, of course. So, but anyway, that's rent to own in Uranus. I hope this opens some doors for businesses that don't already have a system in place for tracking this. Um, Device rentals is a great way to augment your income because if you have a pool of devices, maybe you're not even selling devices, but maybe you would like the idea of being able to make money on loaner devices. But loaner devices, using that terminology implies you're just giving them out, so that's not something that I'm comfortable with. So here we are, rent to own. Have a good one.